Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic: Fathers of Reddit. In honor of Father's Day, what was your don't tell your mother about this moment? Female co-worker of mine was miserable at work one day. I asked her what was wrong. She told me it was her anniversary, and she knew her husband had forgotten. She had preteen girls at home during summer vacation. I knew her home phone number, pre-cell phone era. I called her home phone and one kid picked up. Explained to the kid who I was and that she needed to call dad at work and remind him it was mom and dad's anniversary and don't tell mom or dad I called. The next day she was all smiles. Gosh, he did remember, brought home flowers and took her to dinner. Mission accomplished. Not a word was ever said about this. Until 6 years later, when she left the company. She gave me a hug at a farewell luncheon, and whispered, "My kids ratted you out. Thank you. You may well have just saved a family a lifetime of trouble with that phone call." One night I was enjoying a small bit of ice cream after my 4-year-old daughter went to bed. She came downstairs and caught me. So I offered her a small bite, but since she was supposed to be in bed, I said, "Don't tell mom." She assured me she wouldn't. My wife wouldn't have cared anyway, but it was a fun little game to play. After she went up to bed and I was down on the couch, she snuck into the master bedroom where mom was resting. She told mom that I had let her have some ice cream, and she was afraid of sugar bugs, so could she please brush her teeth again. My wife just laughed at me the next day. Little shit ratted me out to brush her teeth, something she doesn't like doing anyway. And here I am using Paw Patrol electric toothbrushes and toothpaste and frozen mouthwash to coax them into the bathroom before bed. And here I am prying the toothbrush out of my 4-year-old's hands before she wears down all her enamel and trying to get her to stop eating Elmo training toothpaste. When Elle was 12 or so, I walked into my dad's office to find him counting money. He says, "Don't tell mom and you'll find out what it's for." So I don't say a thing. 2 days later he wakes me up early to run errands with him. We came back with a new, used, but new for us, car. He also said if I don't tell how much he spent on it he'll let me drive it. It was only a couple $100, but we were broke and she would have been mad. My mother tried so hard to find out, but I kept the secret. So anytime we were in an open space like an empty lot he would let me drive it. I felt like the coolest kid in middle school knowing how to drive a car. Again, don't tell your mother, he says. It was our secret thing and I'll cherish those memories forever. When I got my permit at 16 I was so excited to drive it for real. I ask my mother if I can drive her around when she has to go out, but she says absolutely not since I have no experience. Well, I can't argue because I don't wanna get dad in trouble. This goes on for a few weeks, I keep asking, she keeps telling me number. This finally happened one day while dad was home and overheard. He comes in the room, gives me a nod and says to my mother, "She's a better driver than you anyway," tosses me the keys and tells mom everything. I was so stoked and cheering. I can drive. I can drive. Dad says, "Drive it." No. If you can keep a secret for that long you can keep the car too. 20 years later it's still one of my favorite memories. Edit, wow. I love you guys. This memory made me so happy while sharing, and even happier to see all of your responses. To answer some questions. It was a 95 Geo Tracker. My mom was expecting me to get driving experience taking a driver's ed course I was signed up to attend a few weeks down the line. Mom was not mad. She was surprised is all. We didn't keep it from her because of her expected reaction. I suppose it was just more fun to have a secret between only us. My dad absolutely is an awesome dude. I am so very lucky to have had him and to still have him. The greatest gifts he gave me were not material. It was his time and attention. I have so many amazing memories with him just doing regular stuff. He has the best sense of humor and is a genuinely good human. I strive to be like him as a parent and as a person. One night when I was about 8, after I had gone to bed, my dad was playing a Nintendo game, Legend of Zelda I think. We had both been playing it but we were stuck. He finally found a secret passage, paused the game, and came upstairs to wake me up. He told me he figured out where we were stuck, snuck me downstairs in a blanket. I'm sure my mom knew, and I got to stay up after midnight on a school night, hiding under a blanket, to see where the hidden passage went. It was a silly little incident, but very memorable. This is so sweet, I can't stop smiling at the imagery you've given me. This is so cool, I love this. My dad and I, around 5 years old, were on our way home from a car show when we were getting followed by the cops. My dad struggled to put on his seatbelt quickly in hopes he wouldn't get a ticket. Unfortunately, we got pulled over. This might have been the first time ever that I saw a cop this close up, let alone speak to one. I was a deer in headlights the whole time. Well, with a cop on either side of the car, the officer leaned in and asked my dad why he was swerving. That dick told the cops I was tickling him. The cops looked at me straight in the eyes and asked if this was true. I was too scared to say anything and just nodded yes. The officers smiled and said, never to do that again while your father is driving, okay? They left without any further words and my dad gave me the lecture of don't tell your mom. TL, Dr. Dad and I get pulled over when he tried to get his seatbelt on, blamed it on me tickling him instead. Hang out with your dad at the car show. Lie to the cops for him. Keep quiet to your mom. Sounds like you tickle of the boxes for being a great son/daughter. I laughed so hard when I read that dick told. I don't know you but I somehow pictured your face emphasizing the word dick. When my 3-year-old wakes up in the middle of the night, like maybe 3 times a month, instead of putting her back to sleep okay her stay up and partake in whatever it is I am doing no matter what. Sometimes she falls asleep in minutes and sometimes she stays up for a couple hours. I think it's amazing times, I think it may even be dreamlike for her by the way she speaks and moves. She has painted with me, heard my books read aloud, watched Lord of the Rings and cooked creme brulee. The rule is, it's my time so if she's gonna be with me she does what I'm doing just like I do for her all day long. She totally gets it and never makes it about her. My goodness, thank you everybody for your comments and your awards. What a special day to be recognized as a father. My dad did this as well. I'll never forget falling asleep in his lap while we watched Gunsmoke. I wish I could explain why, but this is the story that broke me. Something about the quiet hour of the night, almost dreamlike for your daughter, the comfort it must bring her to simply be with you when she wakes up, the chance to interact with you on your level. I don't know man. I hope so much to be a dad someday and these are the types of moments I can only hope for. Thanks for sharing. Not a father but a son, we forgot my passport during vacation and were already at the border station when we noticed. My dad then said that we won't turn back but that he will figure something out. Turns out he smuggled me successfully across 3 border crossings without my passport. Before we arrived at home, he told me not to tell my mom about this. How the hell did he manage that? Stuff you in a suitcase? Nope. We passed through European borders prior to Skij. He had a regular ID card and a driver's license, both belonged to him. He showed the border officials his ID card on top of his driver's license and put them in such a way that the border official would see that he is handing them 2 documents that look very similar, one ID card for him, one for me. Only one border official even bothered to look at the ID card plus driver's license but it seems that he only looked for the expiration date and gave them straight back to my dad. If they caught us, it would have probably ended badly. Dad and I used to rent a movie each week for when Mom had dinner with friends. Usually things like Star Trek or action films. One day, I was about 11, he came home with Blade. We got about 10 minutes in and he turns to me and said don't tell your mother about this, let's just say I forgot to get it this week. Of course I agree. Fast forward 7-ish years, Dad blithely drops at the dinner table the fact that we watched Blade when I was about 11. Silly Dad thought there was some kind of statute of limitations on this. For my dad and I it was cop movies like Last Boy Scout, Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, etc. At the time my mom lost her shit when she found out I was fond of those kind of TV movies cause I'd already seen the theatrical versions on Mayo. I was in middle school, my father gradually bought computers and monitors for us 4 kids and himself and the 5 of us would play World of Warcraft together for many days and always log off 1 hour before Mom got home. We'd rush all the chores in that 1 hour. That's when we had teamwork at its finest. She never knew we all played cause she thought it was the devil. Edit, I've never had 1 Kelvin plus upvotes before. I can't wait to show my dad how much love he's getting on Father's Day. Thank you. Happy Father's Day everyone. Edit 2, thankful for my first award. My dad doesn't have Reddit but he'd say this. Dad, finding 4 other players for dungeons is so hard. There's got to be a better way. Looks around and sees his 4 children. Dad, For real though. My dad was the human paladin, I was always night elf hunter, older sister mage, little sis a human rogue, youngest bro another night elf hunter. Edit spelling error. I have always worked in restaurants and get home late nights. On Fridays I treat myself to takeout. Not just any takeout, the bad stuff. Cheese fries topped with gyro meat, steak nachos with guac. Always a large, always with a big bottle of beer they sell singly. When my girls were little they would sneak down late at night and we would munch bad food and watch really bad funny movies with all the swear words in. That's really endearing. My dad used to wake me up at night when I was in middle school to watch Jackass with him. We would be absolutely wheezing with stifled laughter while my mom snored through it all. Thanks for jogging this sweet memory loose in my head, it's been a long time.